All right, good morning. We need a little bit more energy than that. When she says, "Oh, rise," you must rise immediately.
Court's in session, please be seated.
I think I've met some of you before, maybe not. I'm Judge Fentress. I'm looking forward to hearing your arguments. I heard Mr. Bisson telling you what I'm looking for, so I hope you lock that into your brains. Good luck. I know you're going to be nervous. That's a part of it. I get nervous too, even still, after all these years as an attorney and now as a judge on the bench. So nerves are a part of it. Just work through it. Remember what you intend to say. All right, good luck.
All right, again, I'd just like to reiterate, trust yourself. Stick to your script. You'll be fine, okay? To start, we're gonna have two people from the affirmative side come up, Jason and Janine. And then two people from the negative side, Gabriel and Kiara. All right, to reiterate, this debate is about whether or not women in today's society genuinely have equal opportunities. Emphasis on the word opportunities. The reason why we're having this debate is because throughout our study of U.S. history, the Declaration of Independence, all men are created equal, excluding women, right? The inception of the 18th Amendment, banning alcohol, large in part due to the fact that abuse, domestic violence was happening to women, right? Up till now, the 19th Amendment in our studies, the 19th Amendment giving women the right to vote. So in today's society, are we there, are we at a point where women genuinely have equal opportunities, okay? We're gonna have the affirmative side go first, both parties will speak, and then the negative side will go last, both parties will speak. After all four are done, then we're gonna rotate. Does that make sense? All right, Jason, you're up.
I'll start off with saying thank you for having us here. Women in today's society, some people may say they don't have equal rights or equal opportunities. But why say that? Women in today's society can do what they want. True or false? Hello, my name is Jason, and today I will be proving women in today's society do have equal opportunities as men. To start, gender roles in today's society are becoming more equal. Social science have documented a dramatic change in gender inequalities in the half last century, sometimes called a gender revolution. Women's employment increased, reaching a peak of 57.5% in 2000. In 1990, the female employment rate was 54.3%. This shows women are gaining their rights because the employment of women are increasing. This shows women in today's society have the same opportunity as men. Women's employments have increased of a rate of 57.5%. This proves women have equal opportunities as men because before they had a rate of 54.3 in 1990. This proves gender roles are starting to become more equal. In every U.S. state, young women are more likely than their male counterparts to have a bachelor's degree by 2020. That number has risen to 41% for women, but only 32% for men. The percent gap is big. That means there are currently 1.6 million more young women with a bachelor's degree than men. This is all according to Pew Research. Again, this proof, despite your gender.
Side, Gabriel and Kiara. All right, to reiterate, this debate is about whether or not women in today's society genuinely have equal opportunities. Emphasis on the word opportunities. The reason why we're having this debate is because throughout our study of U.S. history, the Declaration of Independence, all men are created equal, excluding women, right? The inception of the 18th Amendment, banning alcohol, large in part due to the fact that abuse, domestic violence was happening to women, right? Up till now, the 19th Amendment in our studies, the 19th Amendment giving women the right to vote. So in today's society, are we there? Are we at a point where women genuinely have equal opportunities? Okay. We're gonna have the affirmative side go first. Both parties will speak, and then the negative side will go last. Both parties will speak. After all four are done, then we're gonna rotate. Does that make sense? All right, Jason, you're up.
I'm sorry for saying thank you for having us here. Women in today's society, some people may say they don't have equal rights and opportunities. But why say that? Women in today's society can do what they want. True or false? My name is Jason. Today I will be proving women in today's society do have equal opportunities as men. To start, gender roles in today's society are becoming more equal. Social science have documented a dramatic change in gender inequalities in the half last century, sometimes called a gender revolution. Women's employment increased, reaching a peak of 57.5% in 2000. In 1990, the female employment rate was 54.3%. This shows women are gaining their rights because the employment of women are increasing. This shows women in today's society have the same opportunity as men. Women's employments have increased of a rate of 57.5%. This proves women have equal opportunities as men because before they had a rate of 54.3 in 1990. This proves gender roles are starting to become more equal. In every U.S. state, young women are more likely than their male counterparts to have a bachelor's degree by 2020. That number has risen to 41% for women, but only 32% for men. The percent gap is big. That means there are currently 1.6 million more young women with a bachelor's degree than men. This is all according to Pew Research. Again, this proves despite your gender, you can do anything. Women have better education than men, and they can do what they want. No matter what gender you are, some women in today's society do more than men. They work better jobs than men. They get paid more than men. Everyone has a choice to do what they want. This is also proves women have the same opportunity as men. Your Honor, I rest my case.
As a women didn't have equal opportunities for their needs. However, since the 1970s, women have been gaining their equal opportunities. Subsequently, it has been improving year by year. And now, in today's society, women have the majority of the opportunities as men do. My name is Janine, and I'm here to defend that women have equal opportunities. To begin, it is important to clarify that women's equal opportunities in sport has improved a lot. Schools play a big role sports-wise and has surely provided girls with opportunities to engage with several sports. Title IX, according to U.S. Department of Education, prohibits discrimination on the basis of sex in education programs and activities. Before Title IX, 15% of women athletes were women. Now, each year, 3 million more high school and 200,000 more college women have the opportunity to play sports. What this shows is that unlike before, when they had limited choices, schools give girls opportunities and encourage them to participate and be part of sports. It's not just the schools, but the colleges as well give women equal sources and supplies to engage in sports just as men do. One piece of evidence that demonstrates that women have achieved equality in sports is the Olympics. The Olympics gives both men and women the same opportunity to participate and compete at the same events, stadium for gold, silver, and bronze medals. Women athletes will play as many games as men athletes for the first time in the Olympics history. In addition, there is also no differentiation between genders at games by broadcasters and sponsors. What this shows is that the Olympics have increased the amount of females that participate in events which are gender balanced. The Olympics promote parity, opportunities, and competitions. Another way they prove gender equality are the mixed gender events, which shows that there are gender inclusivity. Having gender equality and inclusivity in the Olympics, which is a set of international sports where the athletes participate regardless of their sports, of their looks or sex, shows that they really have gained opportunity over the course of years. To conclude, I'd like to reinforce what I have stated, that Title IX gives women equal opportunity to participate in sports without any given discrimination based on their gender. The Olympic was also another way to prove my claim. The Olympic lets women participate in competition just as men do, and even have competition where both genders participate the same. But I'd like to also say that having equal opportunities does not mean fairness. It means that the opportunity to show capacities and show an entire person's efforts.
Thank you. On the negative side, Kiara Gabriel or Ms. Chopra.
Hello, Judge. Thank you for having me today. My name is Kiara Flores. And today I will be talking about how women have restrictions due to hair discrimination, specifically mostly black women. Imagine you're at work and you get kicked out of your job because of your race. So many women, especially black women, deal with this every day, which proves that women do not have equal opportunities in society. My first evidence is to start from women in American history. In 1786, the governor of Louisiana proclaimed that free black women must wear a tie-on to make them different from white women. Tie-on were head scarves typically worn by enslaved women to keep their hair up while they worked. This historical information is similar to what happened today. NBC News reports that a girl in Louisiana got kicked out of school because of the way her hair was. She was wearing braids. This shows that black women weren't allowed to wear their hair out like they do in today's times. This piece of evidence proves that women don't have equal opportunities in today's society. My second piece of evidence deals with the Crown Act. The Crown Act, created in 2019 by Dell partnering with the state senator Holly J. Mitchell of California, to put protection over discrimination based on race hairstyles like locks, twists, and etc. in the workplace. This proves especially that black women don't have equal opportunities because the Crown Act wouldn't be made if there wasn't any discrimination. Your Honor, I rest my case.
Good morning, Your Honor of Interest. Your Honor of Interest, Prosecutor Andrew Gatishan requests access this Constitution to ensure the rights of his party, as well as permission to speak as its attorney. In the many years of experience you have accumulated to become an honorable judge before the face of this court, I am sure you have experienced sexism growing up in the workplace, growing up in school as a woman, in your time at the metropolitan unit, or even as a judge. In your young tender age of 5, you wanted to become a lawyer, but sadly your family had no law lawyers, no politicians, more specifically, no women like you working those fields that you could have shadowed. According to Attorney Brockton, you were the only minority in your room. I am convinced if you were debating before my peers, you would side with the negative side, the red side. With female state judges making up less than 40% of state judges, according to the Massachusetts Supreme Judicial Court report, I ask myself if there is any equality for women, and today I'm here to prove that there is none. First of all, what is equal opportunity? Opportunity is a set of circumstances that makes it possible to do something. Equality is the state of being equal in status, rights, and opportunities. I now wonder, would a woman have the right set of circumstances to have equal opportunities regarding bodily autonomy? Based on the statistics gathered by the United Nations Population Fund, roughly half of all women are denied bodily autonomy. In the 57 countries surveyed, the proportion of women aged between 15 and 49 able to make autonomous decisions regarding sex partners, healthcare, or contraception ranges as low as 7%. Their lack of bodily autonomy has worsened during the COVID-19 pandemic, placing record numbers of women and girls at risk of gender-based violence and harmful practices such as early marriage. As backed up by the Boston Herald, in the words of Wendy Murphy, women must fight for basic legal equality. This shows that society does not provide women the right set of circumstances to have equality regarding bodily autonomy. How could you even think of women having equal opportunities when they don't even have complete say in what they do with their bodies because it's restricted? In addition, according to the New York Times, in the 21st century, women still have to argue for bodily autonomy. Julie Reichman, who argued in favor of abortions in the Dobbs oral argument at the Supreme Court, stated that on the right to abortion is grounded in liberty, which includes the right to physical autonomy. Secondly, women such as Stacey Abrams still have to argue for women abortion. She expressed herself in the Washington Post with arguments such as, there is no such thing as a heartbeat at 6 weeks. Embryos might have cardiac activities, but not a heartbeat. A genuine one appears at week 10. The World Health Organization tells us that despite abortion being a common health intervention, 45% of abortions are unsafe. And lack of access to safe, timely, affordable, and respectful abortion care is a critical public health and human rights issue. On the report of the National Library of Medicine, when abortion was illegal in the United States, individuals resorted to illegal means of attaining it. Now that it has been restricted once again, I'd like to ask, how much is the percentage of unsafe abortion going to jump to? Does the death of women like the 34-year-old Elizabeth that died trying to end her own pregnancy? These statements show that women do have to fight against the restriction of their bodily autonomy, despite it being grounded in liberty. Based on the fact that my fellow classmates do not have official expertise in the field of cardiology that can be recognized before the face of this court, and that Stacey Abrams worked in healthcare-related law, I am sure that her argument is far more credible than whatever rebuttal awaits me by my fellow classmates. And this shows that women like Stacey Abrams are still arguing for abortion, and they are silenced by a remake of the same propaganda that PR consultant and philosopher Edward Bernays portrayed 95 years ago with women on the Easter Sunday parade prior to this debate. Thirdly, but not lastly, the LA Times says that we are in a moment where women's bodily autonomy is being constricted by a slew of anti-abortion laws, and women's bodily autonomy is a human right, citing the words of the Seattle Times. And according to the Supreme Court, in June 2022, Roe v. Wade, this human right was overturned, and eliminating the federal right to abortion. Nearly 15 states have restricted it, including Alabama, Georgia, and Arkansas. The 15 states banning abortion and the 26 suspected to do so, more than half the states of the U.S., shows that abortion is being restricted. And it's not just restricted, it's being slowly erased. And the voices of women such as you, Judge, are being silenced, not giving them the right to exercise the freedom of rights that our Bill of Rights provide. And Duralex said, Lex, the law is the law. And if you are not able to give them what they need, how can you say that women still have equal opportunities? And lastly, before I rest my case, I would like you all to open your eyes on women suffering in silence because of abortions. As stated by obstetrics and gynecology, some 68,000 women die of unsafe abortions annually, making it one of the leading causes for maternal mortality. How much more women are going to suffer in silence? How much is their liberty going to be restricted to? How much more 5-year-old Michelle Frenchesses are going to have their dreams crushed because they do not have fellow women like them working the fields that you now have managed to work? How much more? I rest my case, Your Honor.
All right. Next up, we'll have
of rights that man has men. My name is Adjustin Andrew, and today I'm here speaking about how women have equality in today's society. Fully 72% of men and 70% of women say that at their workplace they have the same opportunities for advancement. They show that both men and women agree that their workplace treats them equally. The percentages show is most studies suggest that when women and men do the same job and have the same experience or seniority, pay rates tend to be similar. They show that any argument that our society says are wrong because the only reason women get lower pay and that men is because they don't do the same job as men or have the same position or don't have a lot of experience. So it makes no sense to lower women pay when they do the same job as men. In addition, both new studies are based on a survey that have been repeated over time and show that women now do a little bit of housework and childcare, and that men now do a little more housework and it's not as equal. They show that women don't do a lot of housework anymore, and that implements that women now have equality because instead of doing the work all the time, men now help doing work and help take care of the child. to continue. Equality between men and women exists when both sexes are able to share equally in the distribution of power and influence, have equal opportunities. They show that equality between men and women exists, but for it to work out, men and women have to agree with each other and share things equally, like money, who does housework half of the time, and who takes care of the child. To conclude my argument against the opposite team that women do have equality is correct, I have used evidence from other sites that mean that women have equality, furthermore proving that women have equality. I rest my case.
Hello, my name is Jonas Rodriguez. I will be reading a quote by Maya Angelou. When women take care of their health, they become their best friend. Meaning, when women start taking care of themselves well-being, overall, they become a better person to themselves and to others. Today, I will prove that healthcare can change the way women view themselves by taking care of their overall health. To start, according to research I read by Pew Research, states since 1980, women have increased their presence in most of the 10 highest paying occupations in 1980. Physicians were 13%, now it's 38%. One other occupation is the exception, is pharmacists, 61 of them being women. Since 1980, the share of women dentists has more than quadrupled from 7% to 33%. This shows that women have increased so much in healthcare from 1980 and still going. This also shows that no matter what job girls choose in healthcare, increase so much despite them being women. In addition, black students in higher education, women are more likely than men to earn degrees. Black women get 64.1% of bachelor's degrees, 71.5% of master's degree, and 65.9% of doctoral and medical. This shows that black women put their all in healthcare despite getting judged based on their skin tone. This proves that black women are more likely to get a degree in healthcare. In 2021, Kay Maureen King became the first black female chain of surgery at an academic medical center in the USA, and was followed shortly therefore after by Andrea Hayes, who became chair surgeon at Howard University, one of the USA's historical colleges and universities. This shows that whatever you set your mind to, you can accomplish it. These two young black women show that. According to Chicago Tribune, I remember just being so excited about the possibilities of being able to do what the nurses I worked with did. Fernandez said, starting to watch videos from when I was a new nurse and thought, okay, I can see myself doing that. This shows that when she was a new nurse, she looked at other women and seen that women were taking leadership, and she believed that she can become a leader.
When we were at the team talk, teachers and administrators did not say anything to the boy, and we were all day without a call. A girl wore very similar to the talk. However, a teacher immediately sent her out of the class, forcing her to miss important education, all because of her clothes. Hi, my name is Brielle Ball, and I'm here to prove that women do not have equal opportunities. Women get dress coded more often than men. At Brockton High School, 90% of women get dress coded more than men. How are women supposed to feel equal if schools are targeting women for what they wear? Schools should be more focused on education than what a woman wears. Staff prioritize women's clothes more than their own education. They target women, making them not have the same opportunities as men. Staff at school care more about what women wear more than their education. According to ACLU, 83% of women who get dress coded have their education affected just because of what they wear. Women feel as if they can't express themselves. This proves that women get targeted when it comes to being dress coded. Men don't get dress coded as much, meaning they don't have as many interruptions as women. Women don't get treated equal, causing them not to have equal opportunities.
Hello, my name is Robert Morado, and the topic I'm discussing today is why women in today's society do not have equal opportunities. Did you know that the WNBA has 12 teams with a maximum of 15 players on each roster? Even though the NBA has 30 teams with 15 players with G League spots. In the WNBA, last year, only 7 of 12 second-round picks and 3
of 12 third-round picks saw any regular playing action. Even though 15 of the 30 first-round picks played starter or rotational minutes, plus 5 of the 30 second-round picks that all played 20-plus minutes in the NBA. This proves that women do not have equal opportunities because men have a higher percentage of getting drafted than women, due to the fact that only 36 women can be drafted, which is almost half the amount of the NBA draft class, which is 60 players being drafted. In the WNBA, there are 36 regular season games, 18 at home, 18 away. In the NBA regular season, they play 82 games, 41 at home and 41 away. The WNBA plays 4 quarters, 10 minutes each. The NBA plays also 4 quarters, but instead of 12, there's 10. Instead of 10, there's 12. What possible reason could there be where the WNBA should play less games and minutes? This shows that the WNBA plays less games and less minutes. This also proves why women don't have equal opportunities due to them getting less playing time, which restricts them from showing their true potential, compared to the NBA, which have more games, minutes, and also a G League, which lets all NBA players show their skills to try and play on an NBA roster. We all like watching sports, including my fellow classmates. Wouldn't it be nice to watch more female matches? Yet, in conclusion, in today's society, women do not have equal opportunities in athletics because they are not given the same circumstances as the NBA. Your Honor, I rest my case.
All right, next up we'll have Harley, and Vanya. Okay, we're gonna have a rebuttal session, so take notes on what the other team is saying.
Just really quickly before you start also, like, look at my facial reactions. I'm reacting positively, it appears to some things, maybe negatively to other things, so read my body language as well. And I just want to make an announcement about the microphones. These microphones are very sensitive. They will amplify your voice. You don't need to lean in, you don't need to hold it. Just stand up and speak as loudly as you can, okay?
When it comes to equal opportunities for women in employment, there have been impressive improvement throughout the years. For example, 100 years ago, women could not work in construction, financing, technology, and more. Instead, they were forced to be doctors and teachers. Hi, my name is Vanya Lopez, and I'll be talking about how women have equal opportunities in employment. Women-owned businesses continue to fuel the economy, representing 39.1% of all business, over 14 million in employment, 12.2 million workers, and generating 2.7 trillion in revenue. According to the 2024 Wells Fargo Impact of Women-Owned Business Report, in partnership with Vineyard Trinian, Core Women and Women Impacting Public Policy, the number of women-owned businesses between 2019 and 2023 increased at nearly double the rate of those owned by men. And from 2022 to 2023, the growth increased to 4.5 times. 100 years ago, women faced significant restriction in the job market. Many jobs only allowed men only, and women had to work as a nurse, teacher, domestic work, and clerical positions. The women's rights movement, including the suffrage movement, played an important role in the support of gender equality. The impact that women-owned business make on the economy is undeniable. Even more impressive is that the growth in women entrepreneurship, whether it was their workforce or during an extremely difficult time, said Wells Fargo Women's Segment Lead for Small Business, Val Jones. From the trillions in revenue they contribute to the economy to the millions in jobs, women-owned businesses are coming out of the pandemic stronger than they were into the pandemic, and many are thriving. It's a testament to their resiliency and the great and depth of support they've received from government entities, banks, corporations, and philanthropic organizations that must be sustained. I would like to now yield my time, but we'll be back to further prove my point.
In the past few years, women have been thought to not have as many equal opportunities as men. My name is Harvey, and I was today I will be proving that women do in fact have equal opportunities as men. In Afghanistan, women were not able to go to school because the Taliban did not let them. Because of this, the world was questioning the Taliban, and because they were worried about these women's education. People were confused and did not know why they would do this to these women. People protested violently through riots in front of the schools. They were trying to do everything in their power to get these women back to school. And they are still trying to get these women into school in Afghanistan. This shows that since these women were expelled from school for no real reason, people tried their hardest to get these women equal opportunities. Such things show how people are trying and how they want women to have equal opportunities and how things have changed from how they were back then. They have done a study, and this study showed that women in schools compared to women that aren't in schools earn 10% more money than. Because of this, they open STEM programs for these women so that they can get the education they need to get the money they need. This shows us that they want women to prosper. They want women to have equal opportunities. This also shows us that people really care about women's education and that they do have equal opportunities. In conclusion, women have a lot of challenges, but I personally think that in the past 3 decades that everything has changed for women and that they haven't been. As these women suffer from the lack of education, they also are getting more support so that they can indeed get this education that the whole world really cares about. Yes, these women have been through a lot, but also the opportunities that they have worked for, they have Gabriel, you state that women don't really have a choice in abortions. However, you didn't say that these women were careless with their bodies and they could have taken precaution and they could have taken with care and used protection until they were ready to have the children they wanted. I rest my case.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Devin, and today I am here to discuss an important issue on how women are treated unfairly in the STEM fields. Despite progress over the years, women still face significant challenges and biases that stop them from succeeding. To begin, last summer researchers at Yale published a study proving that physics, chemists, and biologists are likely to view a young male scientist more favorably than a woman with the same qualifications. A woman from a New York Times article says that the boys in my group don't take anything I say seriously. This shows that the men in STEM think that women are a joke and aren't smart enough to study in the STEM field. Secondly, women in STEM. Is it a role model thing? Role models can be inspirational and can reduce the stereotyping stigmatized groups. And this may be the case for women in male-dominated STEM fields. Women have fewer female role models in STEM, which can make it difficult for them to see themselves in these fields. Research has shown that the girls who have female STEM role models are more likely to express and pursue in STEM careers. A study by the National Center for Women in Information Technology found that 58% of women were influenced by another female adult to enter the field. Thirdly, women in STEM also get paid less. Women in STEM fields often earn less than their male counterparts for the same work, contributing to overall gender pay disparities. A study by the American Association of Universities found that women in engineering earn about 10% less than men. This shows that women are getting treated unfairly by getting paid less than men, but do the same work as them. Finally, women in STEM in male-dominated environments and with culture based on masculine values, women strain to conform to these cultures, and any failure to properly advance is often blamed on them. Women often face intimidating behaviors by men where they dismiss women's ideas and don't take women's contributions into consideration. These behaviors can become unwelcoming atmosphere for women and make it challenging for them to fully engage and succeed in their field. According to a 2017 Pew Research Center survey, 50% of women in STEM jobs reported experience gender discrimination at work, compared to 41% of women in non-STEM fields.
Hello, my name is Malachi, and I'm here to prove that women do not have equal opportunities in today's society compared to men in terms of education. In my class, very few women like to speak out when it comes to questions or assignments compared to men, which further proves my point. According to United Nations Organization, girls from rural areas and poor households are still less likely to go to school than boys. Not only that, but 122 million girls and 128 million boys are out of school, yet women still account for 2/3 of all adults unable to read. My reasoning being, if you drop out of school or are unable to get a degree of any sort, which is very important for high-paying jobs or professions, being able to read is also essential, especially in the U.S., for things like signing forms or any type of documents, like for example, like a down payment or mortgage on a house or car. You also need to be able to read to sign up for jobs as you will need a job application. According to United Nations Organization, educational and scientific culture, women are also overrepresented in the humanities and social sciences, significantly underrepresented in the subjects that require more education, like engineering, science, and technology. My second reason being women being underrepresented in subjects that require more education means that society doesn't accept them in the higher level of professions and education. As society sees you is very important, as it makes you an impression on how regular people see you also. If regular people see that women are being underrepresented in the higher level professions, they're going to think women are not ready for the jobs that have an impact on the world. According to Amnesty International, gender-based violence in schools undermines the right to education. It presents a major challenge to achieving gender-based equality in education because it negatively impacts girls' participation in their retention and schooling. My final reasoning being, in conclusion, if gender-based violence negatively impacts women's retention for education, then they won't be able to remember important stuff that they were taught, which can set them back or make them fail a class or even stay a grade behind. This problem will put them behind men significantly because all three of those will go on your record and decide, or depending on what college you want to go to, whether they accept you. If no college accepts them, they will be stuck with a high school diploma, which causes the following: not being able to apply for high-end jobs, or even some average jobs that go well above minimum wage. Your Honor, I use your time.
All right, next up we have Eddie and Sam for the affirmative side. Eddie and Sam for the
Hello, Ms. Rangers. My name is Mr. Smith, and I'm here to prove women have equal opportunity in today's society. When my older sister was in high school, she played various amount of sports that participation leads in favor of young men. Nearly 105 years ago, before the House of Representatives voted to pass the 19th Amendment, Adams' letter was a private first step in the fight for women's rights. John Adams and Abigail Adams corresponds over 1,000 letters about what's needed to change, and the first two people to start the idea for fighting for women so they can have equal opportunity in modern day now. In addition, Estelle Freeman discussed how the histories of human suffrage movement and abolitionism are closely intertwined. It was also through their opposition to slavery that middle-class American women first became politically active, said Freeman. The anti-slavery movement pushed women out of homes and church into politics, eventually leading them to advocate for their own rights as women and demonstrate that women became more involved in politics and should have a place in the government and should be able to make changes like men are able to. In the workforce of child and family and school social workers in 2021 was 88,266 people, with 83.6% women and 16% men. In this field of work, women earn equal to 16% more than men. To further prove my point, the Massachusetts Equal Pay Act says that employers cannot discriminate against employees because of their gender when deciding to pay wages. Employers cannot pay workers a salary or wages less due to equal pay. Employers have to pay both genders an equal salary. The law defines that comparable work is when the employees have substantially similar skill and showcase similar effort and responsibility. Men and women largely do different jobs, and often the pay difference is due to the industries that chosen, such as manufacturing or retail. The pay gap happens when they compare different industries' pay and different industries' pay to gender. This proves that women can have equal pay or even get paid more than men in the workforce. I rest my case.
People around the world think of women as less people and thinking that their job is just cooking and eating and help look after the kids. Hello, I'm Eddie, and today I'll be explaining why women in today's society have equal opportunities. First off, along the gender lines, the number reveals a more complicated story. Women are closing the pay gap on men. The national disparity shrank by the largest amount since 2007. To sum it up, this explains women are closing the pay gap between the men. The pay gap from the 2000s was 76 cents of every dollar a man made, but in the 2007, a woman makes 90 cents of every dollar a man made. First off, a key takeaway of the January study by two Cornell economists, Frances Law and Lawrence Hahn, published by the National Bureau of Economic Research, he found that 51% of the difference in the compensation of women and men is related to the fact that female workers are concentrated in underpaid sectors like nursing or education or in other roles. This shows that female workers can have the same wages as men, but they can't because of the sectors they choose to work on. And the research shows that the nurse and education industry had the most considerable gender pay gap in 2021 with around 75% pay gap. Your Honor, I yield my time.
Did you know that women are less likely to get a coaching job than a man? Hi, my name is Nicholas, and I'm here to prove that women don't have equal opportunity. Unequal pay, funding, fewer opportunities, and judgment based on sexuality and build are the many reasons of challenges women face. Women are often discouraged from participating in sports. One reason for this is because decreased coverage. Women face inequality in sports. Men in the NBA average around 10 million, and in the WNBA, women make around 100,000, which is a small portion of what men make. This evidence shows that women have unequal pay opportunities because they can't put in a lot of work but they can put out a lot of work, but they still get paid less than men. Gender discrimination in sports happen at every level. Women get fewer athlete opportunities, scholarships, and funds than men. Women that are college coaches earn less than men coaches. Reports show half of publicly funded national governing bodies are under 25% female. Women held 18% of qualified coaching positions and 9% of senior coaching positions. Women comprise 30% of Olympic governing bodies, 16.6% of national Olympic committees, and international sports federations are led by women, and the rest are led by men. Women have a 1.3 million fewer opportunities to play in high school sports than boys do, due to a lack of gym classes and limited opportunities for women to play sports. Also, women in sports have may experience bullying, social isolation, and negative performance evaluations, or the loss of their starting position. This shows that women have equal opportunity, but don't have equal opportunity because they could get discrimination towards them just for playing sports.
I remember when my mom would work a night shift at a factory where she would not get paid reasonably at all to provide me with what I need. She would later get another job hoping for more pay, but she still did not get paid enough. Hi, my name is Ana Sanchez, and I'm going to explain to you why women do not have equal opportunities in terms of employment. Women are less likely to get promoted than men because they are less valued than men, according to Professor Daniela Lee from the MIT research. They found that on average, women received higher performance ratings than male employees, but received 8.3% lower ratings than male employees, but they also received 8.3 lower ratings for potential than men. The result was that female employees on average were 14% less likely to be promoted than their male colleagues. Lee proceeded to study 30,000 management track employees at large North American retail chains. And here, Lee is trying to explain that women are less appreciated, especially in large companies and industries. This is an example of the inequality that women face in today's world, and according to Lee, men are preferred more in the workforce, although they might have similar, if not the same qualities as an equal applicant, that is a woman. Lee's research should be analyzed so that people can reflect on the unfairness that exists in our world. The New York Times also wrote an article about the mistreatment of women, stating that there have been various reports of harassment towards women in blue-collar workplaces. Regardless who you work for, you will run into the same people over and over again who will not want to work with you just because you reported harassment, said the authors. Conchetta Defa, a construction worker in Utah, wrote, "In most cases, women become employable because of it." In this article, we really see that what people have to say about this topic, especially listening those who even undergo such disrespect in their workplace. Fear is one reason many experts in the field believe that sexual harassment is underreported and remains rampant in blue-collar workplaces. This proves that women don't get treated well in their place of work. Overall, being a woman, employed or unemployed, is part of the society. Listening to other thoughts and learning from experiences and stories is critical so that we can all analyze it and come up with a solution so that men and women can be treated equally.
So Zach, you'll just stand right there and switch.
Over the years, laws and policies have been put in place to ensure equal pay. Protection against workplace discrimination and opportunities for career advancement. This chart shows that the labor force participation rates were really low in 1890 through 1900s. The rates were really low. After the 1940s, the rates made a big change. And they're still changing. Women have equal opportunities in employment mostly due to protections against discrimination and ongoing efforts for gender equality. Laws like the Equal Pay and the Title VII of the Civil Rights Act have been crucial in promoting fairness. This shows that over the time, the 19th Amendment was determined to protect women's rights in employment and make sure they got equal and fair opportunities in the workplace. Your Honor, I rest my case. I trust that as a woman, you take my side and make the right decision.
Finally, Shelley McNamara achieved equality and inclusive McNamara achieved equality and inclusive policy again, but she said we are working to achieve gender equal representation at every level, ensuring equality-based policies and programs to tackle bias and microaggressions. This shows that there are women trying to make a change how people see women in health and in business. Furthermore, Black women in medicine is a documentary talking about Black women in healthcare. There are Black women telling their stories and when we see a Black woman and doctor in America. Currently, 45% of physicians in the U.S. are Black, and less than 28% are Black women. This shows that there are a lot of Black women making a change in healthcare, taking charge and making a difference to see how people see Black women in health. To continue, people say that women are better at helping women and men in health, and study published in Journal Surgery Reviews outcomes for more than 1.5 million patients and found that women were 32% less likely to die, 16% less likely to experience complications if treated by chemotherapy rather than men. This shows that women show more care for women and men in health, and women are less likely to die in the hands of women. In conclusion, women take leadership when COVID-19 happened other than men. At least during the first wave of COVID-19, countries with female leaders suffered lower death rates than compatible nations like India. This shows that female took more leadership when COVID-19 appeared and still taking lead in healthcare. Your Honor, I yield my time.
Sweet, soft, graceful, helpful, emotional, incompetent. These are the stereotypes that society placed on women back in the day. And these are the same stereotypes that are holding women back in modern day. Hi, my name is Scott Shluby, and today I will be explaining to you why women don't have equal opportunities due to gender discrimination. To start off, do you think the U.S. treat women equally than other countries? Do you think that the U.S. is a gender-neutral country? What about globally? Well, let me answer that. Over 2.7 billion women are legally restricted from having the same job choices as men, the World Bank reported in 2020. From the same source, globally, around 2.4 billion women are not allowed equal economic opportunities. Your Honor, there are 3.95 billion women in the world. This proves that globally, women don't have equal opportunities. But why though? Why don't women have equal opportunities? Well, let me better phrase that. Why are 2.7 billion women legally restricted from job choices? Why are 2.4 billion women not allowed equal economic opportunities? Why globally women are not being paid equally to men when they're doing the same exact job? This would only make sense if globally we view women as less than. I heard that one of them said that women have 77% legal protection. Well, that person is wrong. They have 64%. And there are only 14 countries that give women full legal protection, and the U.S. is not one of them. Adding on to that, the recent study news article about three current Amazon employees that have been working there for over 3 years produced a class of action lawsuit to the company due to creating a sexist pay practice. The three women said that they were paid far less than their male colleagues. In one case, the men they were supervising. They heard this had been happening across the company. One of the women named Cole said that the way that they spoke to the female employees, the opportunities that were given, and the access to leaders that the women had is marketed differently to the male workers. They said, one of the women, the article then says that the three women reported this to the higher ups. Your Honor, you want to know what the higher ups did? They stripped all three women from their leadership roles. The three women still work there, but they face retaliation from the company, including monitoring their performance. The three women stated in a way that made them feel threatened. Now, why is this relevant? Well, this is one of the many times where women spoke out against gender discrimination and were immediately silenced. Fun fact, 42% of women in the U.S. have experienced gender discrimination in the workplace. The three women wanted to be paid and treated equally. Instead, they lost their leadership roles. And now they're being monitored like they committed a crime, like they were at fault for not being paid and treated equally. Finally, a recent study using a
Wife and man. These are just some common misconceptions that women endure in our stereotypical workforce. Hello, my name is Jake Furtado, and today I will be elaborating how women in society do not have equal rights compared to men. Women in society do not have equal rights compared to men in the workforce. The stats are stark. In the United States, women earn 80 cents for every dollar earned by men. According to Labor of Statistics, this pay gap is not just a result of individual choices or biases. It's an issue that perpetuates inequality. Women face discrimination in hiring, promotion, and compensation, which leads to a significant gap in earnings over their lifetimes. Women are more likely to work in low-paying industries such as healthcare and education, with often lack of opportunities for advancement. They are also more likely to take on caregiving responsibilities, which can lead to interruptions in their careers and reduce their earning potential. This unequal treatment perpetuates gender stereotypes and reinforces that women are less capable or less committed than men. Furthermore, we also need to recognize that women's caregiving responsibilities are not just individual choices. They are often the result of social expectation and stereotypical barriers that makes it difficult for women to balance work and family responsibilities. Throughout history, social norms and expectations have often regulated women to the roles of caregiver, cook, and house cleaner. From a young age, girls are often expected to prioritize these domestic duties over their other pursuits. This ingrained cultural conditioning not only limits women to opportunities for personal and professional fulfillments, but also reinforces stereotypes that diminish their worth beyond domestic responsibilities. In closing, it's crucial to recognize that acknowledging the inequality women face in the job market is not an indictment of their abilities or accomplishments. On the contrary, it's a call to action to dismantle the barriers that prevent women from realizing their full potential. By addressing systematic biases, promoting equal opportunities, and empowering women to succeed, we can continue to move towards a future where gender equality is a norm rather than the exception. I conclude my case.
Before starting, I would like to question this entire court. Equality based on gender has been increasing, but to my fellow debaters, is that enough? 100 years ago, and that's still not enough. Hi, my name is Zachary Finlay, and I'm here to prove how women do not have the same opportunity as men in public communications. Public communications being the practice of dispersing a message to the general populace or to a specific group using various tools or methods. I can only imagine how uneasy it is for women to not have the right circumstances to speak up and how that affects their ability to have equal opportunities regarding that said matter. Your Honor, how would you feel to have a daughter or sister come up to you vexed because she was harassed at a car dealership or stand for a Honda? Sales have a long history of being male-dominated. Sales have a long history of being a male-dominated profession due to underlying gender biases. As a result, organizations fail to support and protect and nurture women in these fields, proving how women aren't getting the equal protection and being respected as males do because it's being male-dominated. Dee Murphy, who is based in Ottawa, worked for 10 years in dealership. She said she witnessed frequent sexism, including male sales associates ignoring or patronizing female purchasers, called them names or hitting on them. According to a 2020 survey, 65% of women in the automotive industries have experienced unwanted sexual advances at work. Also, researchers Megan Bousset and Florin Zettelmoyer at Northwestern Kellogg School of Management ran the experiment to put the light to differences between the sexes. Both made a call to a repair shop about a 2003 Toyota Camry, one being misinformed with a higher than average price of $510 instead of $365, which was the name was being quoted to. This shows how salesmen easily try to manipulate women because they assume they're less knowledgeable when it comes to vehicles, Your Honor. To conclude, women do not get treated the same in this field, and like those on my side to support, I can only imagine how it must be for other fields. Women have been suffering for a long time, Your Honor. The goals of my argument was not to win this debate, but to rather enlighten the court and all persons present about how women's situations in public communication are. Hoping that this will be one of the stepping stones in the road leading to the change of these circumstances for fellow women like you, Your Honor. My case rests on your bucket subject to follows.
All right, now that all sides have spoken, you guys will have 20 minutes to get to the affirmative side going first. We're gonna have the negative side go first. Gabriel, you're up.
Your Honor, before starting my rebuttal, I would like you to pay attention to the verbs the green side uses. Becoming, gaining, starting to become more equal. But the argument is about today, is it not? Danny said they are closing the pay gap. Not that it is closed. The debate is not about the future as it is uncertain. So why use the future as your argument? And their arguments are mostly about the US, not worldwide. So are you so confined in the idea that the US is the world that you're not able to see with this code? Howdy said he personally thinks they are equal, but what you think matters more than what statistics is saying? That's my question for you right now. And also, my friend Malachi said that women cannot apply for high-end jobs. And Adelson said it's because they have no experience, that they don't have the same positions. Using Janine's word, opportunity is not fairness. But one question, Your Honor, if there is no fairness, how can there be equality? And Adelson, if they have no opportunities due to not having fairness, using Janine's words, how can they have the same experience? And one last thing, the green side keeps repeating itself, and they said that the unemployment rate in 2020 was 58%. Again, an argument about the past. More bachelor degrees, but they work twice as hard. And quoting Adelson again, they have no experience. So how can they have more bachelor degrees, right? So that means they have more credibility than some men, but they still are not able to work the same fields that they should be working, that they studied for. So can you explain that to me right now? This is what I'm asking your fellow debater, the person that is here to represent you, your persecutor, Jason. How can y'all explain that to me? And how can fairness not equal opportunity? How can opportunity not equal equality? That is my question, and I rest my case, Your Honor, of interest.
First, I want to start off with my fellow classmate, Robert. As he said, he was only talking about the women's basketball league. Why wasn't he talking about all the other women leagues that can play? Soccer league. Soccer league, women can play 11 just like men do. They play 4 minutes, the same size of the field, run the same time, everything's the same. It's all the same for every other sport too. they are equal. He was only talking about the basketball league. Why was he talking about the others? And I forgot who, but they were talking about the coaches, that not many female coaches. In Brockton High, we have a lot of female coaches. We have 2 gym coaches, and I think we have 2 male coaches. We have the same equal amount of coaches for men and women. There may be even more women coaches. Women out here, you see them training other females, so that's wrong. And they're talking about the pay, but the Massachusetts Act says that all pay should be equal. I remember a story my mom was telling me. We were in the car and she worked at a job and she was telling me how her pay was going up in the past few weeks. And like my friend Mendoza said, it all matters about your position and experience. A job can be, it matters about how much time you have working that job to see how much you get paid. Schools have different positions and they get paid differently. Like,
You're good, Jason.
The experience and parts of the job, it matters on how you get paid. And now,
You good? You good? You good? Just take a deep breath. Take a deep breath.
back to school, Brockton High, we have multiple teams, and every single female can compete in all the sports men do at Brockton High. We have varsity, we have JV. Some freshmen for soccer, females play varsity, while some juniors for men play JV, not varsity. It all matters. And then they were talking about how the mentality of men, they have more mentality than female do. But that is wrong, because female can have their mentality if they want to. They do what they need and what they want to gain their mentality. Don't base your mentality off of men. Some females do more than men do. They have a better mentality, they work harder than some men do. Some men just sit and be lazy. They have equal opportunities. Equal opportunities. And my friend Jada was talking about, she was only saying rights. The point of this debate is to talk about opportunities, not rights. And they were talking about legal protection, but that Amendment 14 says it gives female their legal protection, all citizens their legal protection. Amendment 14. And
US based. The argument is US based.
You good, Jason. Go.
Just,
Your Honor,
yes, I'm making the decision.
I will make the right decision, and I rest my case.
Is it my time now? All right, so first of all, I want you all to give yourselves and each other a round of applause. I'm gonna keep the element of surprise and not tell you who I think should win until the very end of my very long set of comments that I have for you all. So first of all, I don't know all of you. I don't know that I've met all of you before, but I'm incredibly proud of your ability to come into this courtroom in front of this judge and make these arguments on very difficult issues that even adults like myself are still grappling with. I think a lot of the research that you all use to support your arguments, whether it was for the affirmative side or negative side, demonstrates how difficult these issues are to articulate and advocate for, and you all are doing serious work. So you should be incredibly proud of yourselves to grapple with that information and again come into this courthouse. I know all well how people feel when they come into courthouses. Typically, it's not for good things or happy things. Usually, it's people's absolute worst day. So I'm incredibly proud that you all were able to get past all of those feelings that maybe you might have had before you walked into this building, before you thought of what I might look like, be like, sound like, and still deliver. That's really hard to do, and so you should be incredibly proud of yourselves for that. So I heard a couple of themes throughout all of the arguments on both sides. I heard you all talk about educational disparities, employment disparities, household responsibility disparities, disparities in sports, both at the school level and professional level, the pay gap, pay disparities. You offered global examples, some of you. The argument about sales, both working in sales and being on the receiving end of sales. I thought that was an incredibly creative argument as well. And then you also incorporated racial and cultural differences, and I think that's an important distinction to highlight as well. I heard you or saw you support your arguments with statistics, credible statistics, with laws, both local laws and federal laws. I heard you cite newspaper sources. You gave real world examples. You gave examples at your level, things that are happening at school that you see. And you also relied on historical texts, and I thought it was incredibly creative to use my governor's council hearing, where you learned things about me, Gabriel, to support your argument. And I'll talk to you all about that in a second if you have no idea where he found that information. But I thought that was very creative, very smart to do, because you certainly want to appeal to the person that you are arguing in front of. And I thought Gabriel did a very good job at incorporating certain aspects of my life that he heard about into his argument. I would just encourage you to not consider the fact that just because I'm a woman, I should choose one particular argument over the other. I heard you all during your arguments anticipate what the other side was going to say. Every good lawyer should have that skill. You should know not only your argument, your version, but also what the other side is going to say and be able to challenge what those arguments might be, and you all handled that beautifully. You also acknowledged our tortured history, and I think that was particularly true for the affirmative side. You all had the harder argument, right? We all know what our history has shown us, has told us. And so acknowledging that history is not a great history, that it's a tortured history, I think was a very smart strategy for you all to employ, and just acknowledging it is what it is, but here we are now. These are the examples of how we've overcome, or we've gotten better. I also heard you all attributing the sources to the people, right? So you said, and I quote, and you said who the person was that you quoted. So I wasn't left with the impression that you all were the ones that were saying these things. You told me where you got your information from, and that's incredibly important as well, to give attribution to where you get your information. I did hear some people conflate the assignment. So conflating meaning like it was a little confused. The issue was whether or not women have opportunities, not whether women have rights. And that can happen sometimes in your arguments where you sort of lose sight of what you really need to focus on. And it's not certainly a criticism at all, because it was a point that probably should have been made. But just stay on task, stay on topic. And I think Mr. Bisong framed the issue for us by telling us what the rights were, which is the clue that, okay, so we're talking about opportunities. Are we there yet? Are we not there yet? I'm going to give you all some tips. Take it or leave it. I suggest you take them. And so I'll just say this quickly. The first time I actually had to speak in a large crowd was when I was working as a prosecutor, right? So this is after high school, after college, after law school. I am a professional, and the first time I spoke in a large crowd was in my professional career as a prosecutor, and I will never forget how much my body was trembling, like every part of me. I had never been that nervous in my entire life, but I got through it. And every day after that got easier. What helped me to get better at being able to speak publicly was a few things. First of all, recognizing that, like, okay, they gave me this job, so obviously I'm qualified to do something, right? You all have this assignment, you know how to speak, you know how to talk. You are just as qualified as I was back then to say things publicly, right? But I did other things at home. And so we didn't have FaceTime or Zoom when I was coming up. I know I sound like a big dinosaur right now, but I would practice in the mirror, right? So I saw a lot of you reading from your words, which can make you really nervous, because if you look up, you look back down, you've lost your place, and then that freaks you out, and then your brain freezes, and you're like, oh my gosh, what do I do? And knowing that was an experience I would have when I would speak publicly, or at least try to speak at my law school classes, I would practice in the mirror. If I was writing it, I would write it big and like use up all the paper so that I can just really take my time and pace myself. If you have access to a computer, use a bigger font. And if you end up with 10 pages to say 5 things, so be it. You've been able to say it slowly, methodically, so that the listener can really hear everything that you're saying. A lot of you would just read, speed reading fast. I'm a fast talker as well, so I know what that's like. And so for me, even when I speak publicly, I will type it out and I will put it in like 16 font so I can take my time. I look up, I see if people are falling asleep. If they are, maybe I have to get a little bit louder. Or people are like straining, maybe I need to speak a little louder. If they're like, what on earth? Maybe I need to kind of tweak a little bit, of what I'm saying. So practicing in the mirror really helped me to watch myself. You all have your phones now. You can record yourselves and go back and watch it. You will probably cringe. I know I would too if I had to record myself, but that's one of the ways that you get better at just getting comfortable in your own skin and speaking publicly. I heard a lot of you struggling with some new words, some big words, some fancy words. Happens to me too. A little trick for that is Google is your friend. Dictionary.com is your friend. You have an ability to log in, type those words in, and hear them. Hear how they're pronounced, and you just practice those too. The eye contact, that's big for me. I know you all were nervous, but again, you were looking down. I wanted to see your eyes. I wanted to hear you. I wanted to hear you better. And by looking down, you weren't looking at me. All right, so you couldn't tell if I was receiving what you were saying. You couldn't tell if I was confused by what you were saying. You couldn't tell if I could even hear you. So just take a breath, take your time, and look up. I will say, someone argued that, I don't want to win. Never say that. Never say that. You want to win. You want to make your point, right? You want to make your point for sure. But you obviously want to win. And it was a good point. And if you do get stuck, like I said, just take a breath. Just gather yourself. Tell your brain to stop playing games, so you can say the words that you need to say. I'll give you advice first, more advice before I tell you who the winner is. I think that what you all have just experienced is a really good skill set to learn, develop, and grow over time. What you all are learning right now is how to advocate for yourselves and others. You're learning how to resolve conflicts in a way with words rather than with actions. And these skill sets will propel you and put you in so many spaces that you probably never even could have imagined yourself in. What you've just done today can lead to careers where people advocate for others, whether that's in social work, whether that's in the law, whether that's in policy. I see future politicians here, I see future lawyers here, I see future social workers here, and judges. I'm, again, so impressed with you all's ability, like I said, to get up here and speak publicly and passionately about a really, really tough subject. So be proud of that. And now I will announce the winner. Let me actually, no, that's not fair. I'm pretty sure if I say which side thinks the affirmative side should win, everybody on the affirmative side is going to raise their hand. And if I say negative, everyone on the negative side is going to raise. I'm going to choose. Let me say this. In every debate, every case, every argument, someone is going to win, someone is going to lose. I have to pick the winners and the losers every single day in court. Sometimes the winners and losers are chosen based on the law. Sometimes it's just based on the particular nuances of your facts. But what matters, especially if you're a lawyer, if you're an advocate, if you're the one that's doing the speaking, is how prepared you are, right? Preparation is key. And any good lawyer wants to be sure that they are the most prepared person in the room. So that means knowing your side inside and out and being able to anticipate the other sides so that if you're thrown a question, you can just answer it. So, drum roll. This is so hard. I know. All right, I chose the affirmative side. Yeah!